Hey, Gary, have you ever ridden in one of these conversions yet?
No.
No? All right, well, hey, this is what you're about to ride. That's Dr. 733 right there. We'll see ya.
Totally looks like a Hot Wheels car.
Hate to see it leave, but I love to watch it go.
Welcome back to Revolt Garage. We got a very special guest with us today. It's Gary Hooker. If you guys don't know who Gary Hooker is, turn this thing off, go get an encyclopedia and figure it out. This man is a legend, living legend. Also an amazing friend of ours here at the shop. Gary has, how long have you been doing this, Gary?
How long have I been doing what?
The car stuff, yeah, car stuff.
Since I was a kid.
Okay, so it's been a few years.
So
100
what,
years.
like 12, 13 years?
Yeah. Long time.
Gary's been a really good friend of ours. Through the Vescos, we met Gary, and he's just been a really cool prize to have come by. He lives around the block, so he's a constant visitor here at the shop. We love listening to his stories, and we really want to share this with you guys because there's just not that many people that have accomplished what Gary has in his lifetime with hot rodding and the whole car industry. And to have a gentleman like this come in and be able to like talk about his experiences and then look at what we're doing and be able to put all that stuff together and kind of relive basically what you did, you know, a few years ago.
Yeah. So, well, with that being said, let's kick this off. One of my favorite stories, man. I heard you tell this and hate to put you through it, but one more time. So, how did Gary Hooker get started? I mean, when was it? Where was it? What did you do?
Well, I worked on cars and built cars. I was building motors when I was in high school for guys.
Okay.
Not building motors, repairing guys' cars, basically in high school. So I was around cars a lot, did a little drag racing. I was in the military
What branch?
for 6 months, Army, for 6 months.
Nobody's perfect. I was Navy, okay.
And when I got out, I went to work as an electronic technician and scraped up money and bought a 62 Chevy 409 in 1962. So I didn't have any money, so I built my own headers. And I wanted to do it a little different, not a bunch of science into it, but they were different and homemade. I couldn't weld. I would piece them up and had a muffler shop guy weld them up for me.
Okay.
So long story short, I did a few things to the car, took it out to a dyno, a chassis dyno, and the guy by the name of Jack Bear, and he was kind of a local hero to me. I took it out there to have him tune it. So he just got a customer's car for a 409 also, off the dyno. So he put mine on after the customer, and ran it up, and so he says to me, he says I got to get rid of my customer. And they had towed the car up. The guy had built a complete car for him and everything.
Wow. Yeah.
He says stick around, and so I did, and he says, you just made more horsepower than that car I just
than the build.
And he says, it's got to be the headers. And so he said, can you get me a set of those headers? And I said, well, that's it. I says, if you give me a ride home,
Gary needed a ride home.
I'll give you the. So we took the headers off the car, and he went out and went 2 or 3 miles an hour faster and a couple tenths of a second quicker.
That's huge.
I mean, that's huge in a quarter mile, though.
No, I forgot to say that. He had a 409 race car, too.
Yeah.
So he took my headers, put them on his race car, and went faster and quicker. So
now, for those of you guys who don't know,
I always wanted to be in business for myself, so
and that was the beginning of it.
yeah, that was.
So for those of you guys who don't know, but in 1962, a 409 that was the king of the racetrack. Now it wasn't a great circle track car, but on a drag strip, 409 was the king. They called it a W motor, right? And it had the scalloped heads on it. And a 62 409 was the king on a drag strip. And he just improved it. So,
And you were just, how old were you when that happened?
yeah.
Roughly?
20.
20 years old. So
Yeah.
you're a young kid,
Yeah.
tuning around in your garage, having a good time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was kind of the beginning of hot rodding.
Well, it was the muscle car era.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, wasn't the beginning of hot rodding.
But
hot rodding was 11.
But I mean,
It
now,
was the start of the muscle car era.
Yeah.
and you making aftermarket parts for it. I mean, that was the beginning of you guys with hooker headers, right?
Oh yeah, there was no hooker headers.
Yeah,
It was
there was
just a
none.
kid in the garage.
Yeah.
But there was no header company. You couldn't
No,
buy
oh,
those
no.
things off the shelf anymore.
Well, yeah, you could.
Okay,
you
what
could.
was out there
you
before
could.
you?
There was guys, the Ballinger brothers. The reason I built my own is I couldn't afford to buy them.
Okay.
So Jardine was in business, Ballinger Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
a company called Horsepower Engineering.
Okay, so there was a few things on the
Oh yeah,
aftermarket.
yeah.
And you-
Headman headers had been around for 10
Really?
years.
Headman was that long?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
yeah.
know that either.
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
why we like Gary here.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's-
So no, I didn't
history book.
invent. I wasn't the first.
Yeah.
But you revolutionized
early.
it. There
Yeah.
was a huge amount of stuff that you guys did. I mean, so take us through kind of so you started building these headers. And what after that? People just started asking you for them all over the place?
Well, I was young,
Uh-huh.
living at home, and just the direction I went with design worked. So and it was basically just making a longer header and bigger diameter header.
Letting it
So,
breathe.
so that worked. So I built some I started building fixtures and learned to weld.
Getting better?
That's helpful.
So yeah, early on, I probably had here's this 21-year-old, and I think I did have 6 of the top 10 super stockers had my headers because they worked.
Nice. Yeah.
They worked. So I gave them away,
To promote it.
what you do to
Yeah.
promote. So
Right.
so then it just kind of took off from there.
When did you and David Spengler meet up together, and how long did you run the company before?
Oh, the time we're talking about would probably be 1964, 1963. I hired Dave in 1959. He was worked for Ford Motor Company and a marketing guy.
And that's what his direction was to do marketing, right?
Yeah, he was a
marketing
he was
director
in-
for
yeah.
Hooker Headers.
Yeah, yeah.
And you guys were partners for quite a long time.
Still are.
Still are. In all your different business endeavors.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, David Spengler was actually the other guy behind Hooker Headers. So it was you and David as a partnership, correct?
Yeah, we were partners.
Partners into that company. So that's basically how Hooker Headers took off. And at the end of it, you guys ended up selling it off to Holly, right?
Right.
Okay. And then when you guys sold it off to Holly, how many different parts did you guys have? I mean, how
Oh, Jesus, thousands.
thousands.
Yeah,
Wow.
thousands, yeah.
So as a kid, you ever see this thing going anywhere, or you just wanted to work for yourself,
No,
or you just did it? And
I just did it.
and it happened.
It was just always a lot of luck, but we early on did our emphasis was on building the product, manufacturing engineering stuff.
Yeah.
Because the demand was just with the muscle car thing, the demand was just way over the supply. Nobody could actually build this stuff.
Yeah. So
Our real success in those days was we built the stuff, and then we also built the racer what he wanted. So early on, I did a lot of work with Chrysler, and rather than impose my designs on them, I was able to build the design into the car.
oh wow.
Nice.
Because you had big motors and little cars, and so there was a lot to making them fit.
And that was mostly done here in California, right?
All of it. Yeah,
All of it. Now walk me through this. So back in what 1970, what is it, 2 or 4? Smog starts coming in.
Oh,
early
yeah,
70s.
70, I think,
74.
76, a car has to be small. 75 and older, you can get.
That had
around.
very little effect on the business.
Okay,
Or
so
in
you guys are
fact,
still
actually no effect.
No effect, because you guys are building aftermarket race parts,
Yeah.
so it didn't really affect you
Yeah,
guys at all.
yeah.
But all of us
Yeah.
kind of know we put it in our street
Yeah.
cars anyway.
Yeah.
It's got to get around the
Yeah,
smog stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of brings me all the way up forward to this whole electric era. I mean, you guys did a lot of hot rodding. You guys were part of basically the hot rod culture, and hooker header was hand in hand for generations. Here we are in 2023, and we have this electric stuff going on. We constantly get asked, and what we're doing and why we're doing this, and my answer is always the same: is look, I'm not trying to sit here and preach environmental stuff. I'm here to go fast. And this is just another way for me to go fast. You've been through the gasoline stuff and you have some interest in this electric stuff. You have electric bikes. What do you think about these electric cars?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it.
Is it hot rodding?
Yes. I equate the electric or the electric motor and performance to the early days of hot rodding in the 50s and 60s when I was in high school.
Okay.
You just took a transmission from this car and a motor from that car and just pieced it together, and it was
Made it go
just
fast.
total innovation.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on in I'm involved now with some electric bikes, electric motorcycles, basically. And it's just robbing from here, robbing from there, getting the guys to put it together. And
Yeah, we call
very
it
similar.
we call
very
it
similar.
hot rodding 2.0.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
It is. But
Yeah.
it would be more like the early hot rodding before it was even an industry.
Yeah.
It's Wild West still. Yeah.
It's Wild
Yeah.
West still.
Yeah.
That's my outlook on it.
And you have quite a bit of experience with electric stuff because of the motorcycles and bikes that you're building. I mean, they're
Well, just-
Frankenstein together just like the old bikes were, or the old cars were.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah,
that's all we
same.
have.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so let me ask you your opinion on this. All right, you didn't see hooker headers being as huge as it was when it started off, but even the hot rodding, it was a thing, but it wasn't this massive billion-dollar industry at the time. Where do you see this electric stuff going in, say, the next 10 years?
Well, I think it's going to go the same way.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's in its innovation state, at least the aftermarket part, and it's in an innovation stage, as that was.
I mean, and that's where we are. We're in that
Yeah,
conversion
yeah,
arena,
we're just
right?
creating. You're creating markets.
Yep, absolutely.
You're creating markets, and
Well, I've taken a couple of notes from your business partner too. Spangler's good about that. He's like, hey, you need to do it this way because that's the way we did it, and you're just basically copy and pasting it right over to the same electric stuff. So you need to build parts, you need to do this, and it's great to have a mentor like that for me on the
Yeah.
business side of
absolutely.
things because I run the business side of this,
Yeah.
and to have somebody with that much business experience and then be able to walk in his shoes a little bit,
Yeah.
and have him kind of give me some guidance on this whole thing is amazing because it is literally to me, and I know a lot of people disagree with this because, this is new and people are afraid of it, that, this is run exactly like the hot rods were 50, 60 years ago. The business is identical.
yeah, I would agree with that.
And we're having fun with it, and, we are setting some pretty interesting records. I mean, we have now Bonneville behind us. We did, 353.4 miles an hour, and we're going for 360 this year. And it's interesting on how we could bump things around. It's more on the software end of things. We have electronics now involved, which makes our life a little bit more tricky. But you guys had mechanical problems to get through. I mean, you have how many?
Still just innovation. It's still
Yeah.
pulling parts down, and there is that element of programming in it, but it's still the same mentality. I'm going to try something new. There's just more variables probably, but not necessarily.
You took a ride in my Mustang.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I love it. Love it.
And it does have some audible feedback. You can hear it.
Well,
Some people are like, you can't hear anything. Well, there's gears. You can hear some stuff. It's not a hooker header. Popping.
yeah, but it the whole idea of not having sound makes things, opens up just
Yeah.
more and more markets.
Sure.
Right.
You know,
Well,
like
now-
electric motocross bikes. They're just as fast and everything. So now somebody could have a motocross track in an urban area.
Which I do.
Right.
Yeah.
In my
yeah,
backyard,
Yeah, there you go. So,
Our CCNRs strictly state that you
So-
can't have motorcycles and stuff
Yeah.
because of the noise abatement.
yeah.
Yeah.
All my neighbors don't care because we have electric bikes.
Yeah.
We zip around, have a great time, and you know what? My neighbors actually like it.
Yeah.
I remember there was a lady down the street from me, and I had my 450, and I'd start this thing up once a week to keep the engine running on it, and I wouldn't rev it up, but those things are just loud. They're louder than a Harley.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I'd go by her house, and she'd come out with her cell phone. I'm going to call the cops on you. And then I got the Alta, the electric one.
Yeah.
And I would drive by the same lady's house with my kid on the front of it, and she would wave at me and
Give
go,
you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, thank you for shutting up. But also
Yeah.
what I noticed too, and this is just me being, I used to race motorcycles and everything else, bikes, you name it, but there is a different type of audio now. Before the engine would drown everything out and it sounds cool, but right now I could hear my tires on the different substrate.
Yeah.
And I could hear a slip
Yeah.
versus before you'd have to feel the slip,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
now I got two sensories controlling my slip versus before it was just like the bike feels like it's slipping out from underneath me. Now I can hear if I'm on different gravel, on rock, on sand, on dirt. And the car has the same application. When I floor my Mustang, it's got so much torque, I could blow those 345s off of it anytime I want.
Yeah.
And I could hear that slip, where if I had a gas engine, that's being muffled. I mean, you hear the revs come up, but at that point, it's too late. Your tires
Yeah.
are broken loose.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different things that I would think we're now exposing. I hear every creak in that chassis. You can hear that thing going down the road. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it is awesome to be able to sit with you and go through like the generations of hot rodding and get guys like you excited about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think, you know what? Hey, first of all, I want to thank you for sitting down with us because I'm a car guy in the shop. They call me the car guy in this particular arena. And I can't tell you how many sets of hooker headers I had. And to me, it was just a name. It was a brand. It was, like Hedman. I've had Hedman headers. Had no idea they'd been around that long, right? It's just, that's the name I know. Hooker headers is the name I know. And then one day you walk in the shop and he's like, oh yeah, this is Gary Hooker. Oh, hey, I used to have a headers named Hooker, right? And he's like, no, this is Gary Hooker. Gary Hooker, yeah. You mean like Gary Hooker? And dude, when you left, I was like talking about you like all day long. It's like, dude, that was Gary Hooker in our shop, right? And so the point here is what you started is gone for generations, right? And it'll be going for many more generations because that's something this electric stuff, it's taken over and it's taken root. But what you started is not going anywhere. And so I really appreciate the fact that you took time to sit down with us and do this because it means a lot to me, particularly.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And it's neat to have, guys like you, and we're part of the Roadster Club too, the San Diego Roadster Club.
Yeah.
They're into this because they just want to go faster.
Yeah.
I mean, we're working right now across the street. with
Yeah,
them.
and the technology is quantum faster.
Yeah.
So you were talking the other day about somebody in a Tesla
Yeah.
turning a 903.
Yeah.
Okay,
Out of a
funny
car.
cars back in the day didn't turn a 903.
Yeah.
And this van that has
And they made
seatbelts
a
for your
lot of
kids.
noise.
This dude did it with a baby seat in the back on street tires.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah.
it's actually a huge step forward in performance.
Yep.
And all,
And we're just scratching
you just
the
don't have the noise.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all. But
The torque is.
So what?
I'll trade torque for noise any
yeah,
day.
there you go.
And we have friends like MagnaFlow right across the street too, and they're really good friends of ours.
Yeah.
And they come by here and they like what we're doing. They're interested in
course.
stuff, and that's a exhaust company.
Yeah.
I mean, even one of our race cars is sponsored by MagnaFlow. MagnaFlow, thank you guys, by the way. And everyone's like, why the heck do you have MagnaFlow on the side of an electric race car? Why? Because they see what we're doing and they're interested
That's
and
right.
want to help.
Yeah.
They want to help out.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna keep innovating. We're gonna keep doing this, and we take a lot of notes from people like Gary, and And David and all the other people that we met in this industry, I mean, they pioneered this for us. And I think the best thing we could do is just ride your coattails and, and keep that torch going and keep burning. And we're going to burn some more tires. We go to the racetrack. We got an update for your truck coming next year.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to blow your guys.
Yeah, we got something
doors up.
nice coming for the Hillbilly Deluxe.
Yeah, we're gonna be pushing some major. I mean, we're putting 500 to the ground right now.
Yep.
We're gonna be doubling that here soon. So that's the insight I'll give you guys on what's to come. But once again, hot rodding, all this stuff is just so fun, Gary. Thank you so much
Well, thank you.
for giving us like this knowledge, and not only that, you know, it is inspiring when you come in here. All my guys will tell you.
Oh, yeah.
When you come in here and you leave, we're like, dude, Gary Hooker was here, and we are doing something right. I think.
We're
Yes,
doing
you
something
are.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Well, I appreciate you, Gary,
Thank
and
you.
thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming by. And it's
Yeah.
always a
Okay,
pleasure.
guys.
Hey,
Keep it
thanks.
up.
I appreciate
Keep
it,
it
man.
up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, Gary Hooker, what can I say? It's amazing to have him here. Stay tuned. We are going to bring some more fun to you guys. We're going to work on some stuff with Gary too. He's got some bicycles. We'll get you guys going on that stuff and introduce you to the Hillbilly Deluxe 2.05, whatever it's going to be.
So hey, like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you guys next time on Revolt Garage.
Thank you guys very much. Take care. Short and sweet.
Thanks.
Nice.
Boom.
I think there's only one little dead spot at the end there, and that was it.
like, yeah, snow.
That's what.
I'm good at bullshit. So. Oh, that's great. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, man.
No, that's good.